Hi, everybody. It's Deborah from PeopleLovingAnimals.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching my video today. Today's video is called Cheap Pet Insurance Coverage That You Can Afford. This is a topic that I've done several videos on for this channel. You're going to find them under the Pet Health playlist. In today's video, it's going to be very short. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about pet health insurance and kind of give you an idea what you can expect to pay for it. And by the end of the video, you're going to have a lot of resources that I'm going to give you for how to make decisions about pet health insurance. So I hope you'll stick with me. I'll try to make it short. If you have been here before, you know I have a website called PeopleLovingAnimals.com. I'm going to give you a link to this article called Cheap Pet Insurance Coverage You Can Afford. I'll give you the link to this in the description box. I'm also going to give you a couple more links to a couple more things, so stay with me. I'm going to tell you what those are in just a minute. Just as an overview, I just want to give you an idea of kind of what my experience has been. I did a video. Well, let me tell you this first before I go over this. I did an article on my website called Health Insurance for Pets, Everything You Need to Know. This is an in-depth article all about pet insurance, and it has a full video of the same title that you can find on my YouTube channel, again, under the Pet Health playlist. I'll also link that directly for you in the description for today's video. This is a very full-length article that I wrote for my website, and I did a video on. So I talk a lot about my history, what animals I have had, what sort of pet health issues I've had, what sort of expenses I've had, in much more detail than what I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm going to give you that information so you can go ahead and hear a lot more about pet insurance and so forth. Now, these are my last two dogs. One's a Boston Terrier named Cagney. Here he is with this little monkey toy. I adopted Cagney when he blew out his ACL. That's a knee injury for those of you that don't know. And I have had my website, PeopleLovingAnimals.com, for several years now. I'm an affiliate marketer and I work at home. So Cagney's parents both worked all day with a blown out ACL. He couldn't be left alone. And so I took him and I adopted him, and I ended up having him for a couple more years until he eventually passed away of congestive heart failure, sadly. But I ended up taking that boy, and I just love him so much. He, like I say, he blew out his ACL, and so I had to keep him with me all the time and keep him off the leg and everything. That's a whole other story. By the way, if you have that issue, or if you've ever had that issue, you want a video on that topic, please say so in the comments. I'm happy to do a video about the whole thing. Now, the dog did recover 100%, so I can probably share some really good information. This dog here is Tazzy. If you've been here before, you've heard me talk about her. She's a miniature dachshund. Now, the reason I'm bringing up these two in today's video about finding cheap pet insurance is I wish I would have had pet insurance for these two animals. Cagney had a blown out ACL. That was not my expense. That happened to him while he belonged to his original parents. I only adopted him after he had that injury, but then I had him for the rest of his life. He developed congestive heart failure, which is a very expensive disease. They have to have tons of tests done. They have to have heart scans done. They have to have blood work done. The medication for that disease is quite expensive, and he had to be on two medications, which most people and animals do have to be on two different medications at least for congestive heart failure. A lot of vet visits, and it was a very expensive thing for me to have Cagney and have him develop congestive heart failure. Taz, my little wiener dog, I had her for 6.5 years, and I call her my $20,000 wiener dog. Now, there's another video, and I'm going to give you links to it in the description box on my YouTube channel called Is Health Insurance Worth It for Dogs? And in it, I talk about my $20,000 wiener dog. Now, back when I had her, health insurance for animals did exist, but it really wasn't that popular. I didn't really know much about it. I didn't realize that I coulda, woulda, shoulda got pet insurance. I know this now, and I wish I would have known it then. But Tazzy came to me with a multitude of health issues. She had a lot of dental issues. She had abscess teeth. She had to have 2 different dental surgeries, which each cost me a little more than $1,000. One time when I had her, she slipped on the ice and threw her back out. That cost me over $1,000. When I first adopted her from a shelter, she had mange, she had fleas, she had ticks at one point, all of that. I had to get help from the vet. She also had ended up passing away from congestive heart failure. And Taz also had a variety of respiratory issues. She had to go to the vet every summer. She had to have bronchial dilators for her allergies. The dog literally could not breathe. She had collapsed trachea. And what was the worst of all of it for Tazzy was she had Cushing's disease. Now, back then, now this is several years ago, her medication for the Cushing's disease was between $75 and $90 per month. And she had to have blood work that cost over $300 every 3 months in order to stay on that medication. So my point is, you can have some really serious pet expenses, health issues with your animals, whether they are young or old, whether it's a dog or cat. And it is absolutely to your benefit to get pet health insurance. Now, 2 things I want to talk to you about in today's video. One is what you can expect to pay for pet health insurance, and the other, I wanted to give you these examples of these 2 dogs to give you an idea of the numbers, what we're talking about. Not to scare you, but had I realized what I was in for with these 2 dogs, if anybody had told me what I'm telling you in today's video, it literally would have saved me thousands of dollars just with these 2 animals. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what some of the things were that I had for these 2 particular dogs, and the money, the actual numbers as to how much it cost me. Now, it doesn't have to be anything big, like for example, I had a girlfriend who had a small cat named Smokey, and Smokey was acting weird, and I could tell that she likely had a urinary tract infection because I've had cats for 100 years. I know what it looks like and what the symptoms are and everything. So again, I had time during the day, so I took Smokey to the vet for my friend, and sure enough, she had a urinary tract infection. Well, the whole deal cost over $300. You got to take her to the vet. You got to pay for the vet visit. They did a urinalysis. You got to pay for that. And then they sent her home with antibiotics. Simple urinary tract infection, over $300. So again, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to give you some realistic numbers of some of the expenses that you can have with a cat. Now, that particular cat was very young. She wasn't even, I don't even think she was a year and a half old at that time. So it's not like, oh, my dog's young, they're never going to have any health problems, not to mention the fact that you can have young dogs in particular are sometimes think they're stunt dogs, and one dangerous leap from the couch can result in a broken leg and $1,000 by the time they have surgery and everything else. So not to mention, and again, I'm not trying to scare you, but every disease that humans can get, dogs can get. Diabetes, cancer, blood pressure issues, cholesterol, all kinds of in whatever accident a person can have, a dog can have. So again, not trying to scare you, just trying to give you some realistic ideas of numbers that you can experience, and if you're like me, I experienced all of it and wished that I had known about and had pet insurance ahead of time. Just as an aside, I give you a little sign up here in the article. I'll give it to you in the description box of this video for 12 questions to ask before buying health insurance. You can print this out if you want to. Now, this goes along with that article, Health Insurance for Pets, Everything You Need to Know. I suggest reading that article, watching that video first. Again, I'll give you the links to it, and then you'll have a much better understanding of these 12 questions. So I'm encouraging you to go everywhere, do everything that I give you in this video today, because by the time you get done with all the information, and if you watch the videos that I give you, you're going to really know what you're talking about when it comes to pet health insurance, and you're going to understand the pros and cons. You're going to understand whether or not you should get it from your pet. You're going to understand how to choose the policies and how that affects your prices based on what coverage you get, and and so forth. Now, let me give you a couple of ideas here. There are two pet insurance companies that I recommend on my website, peoplelovinganimals.com. The first one is Healthy Paws. I have a review for them. I'll give you a link to it in the description box. It has a nice video in it, which is an interview of the owner of Healthy Paws. I think it's a good company. They've been recognized for several years now for exceptional customer service. They have good prices and so forth. I'm going to give you the link in this article, and also there'll be links in the description box. You can go ahead and get a free quote, okay? And what they do is they ask you for, your dog, your breed, your cat, either one, dogs or cats, the age of the animal, all this kind of stuff, and they give you a quote. Now, just as an idea, I had Cagney. I went into Healthy Paws back then when I had him to get a quote for him. I got a quote of $38.64 a month. Now, Cagney was elderly at that time. He was over 10 years old at that time. Now, just like with people, the older you are, the more expensive your health insurance is going to be. It's going to be way cheaper if the animal is young. So I always say, get it while they're young, because then you're going to have that policy. Also, you have to consider the fact that if you have an older animal, a brand new pet insurance policy isn't likely going to cover what they call a pre-existing illness, just like with people. Don't wait till your dog breaks his leg and then go see about getting pet health insurance. You'll be able to get pet health insurance, but it's not going to cover the leg that was broken before the policy started. You see what I mean? It's the same thing with people. Now, so keep in mind that Cagney was quite, 10 years old is considered a senior dog. That's considered an older dog. Now, I got no cap on the annual coverage and a $750 a year deductible with a 60% reimbursement. Again, in that article, the video I give you, Health Insurance for Pets, Everything You Need to Know, we talk a lot more in detail about that. And basically, health insurance for pets works the same as it does for people. Based on your coverage, based on your age, based on your health, all factors into what that premium is going to be. Now, for example, you can get no cap on annual coverage. You can say, okay, well, I just wanted to cover up to $5,000 for the year. Or I had a $750 I got my quote with a $750 dollar per year deductible. I could have made that $250, $500, $1,000. Again, that affects your premium. I got a 60% reimbursement. You can get a 70% reimbursement, 80% reimbursement, 90% reimbursement. And again, that all factors into the price of your policy. So you can go in and get a quote. Again, if you have a younger animal, if you have an animal with no existing health conditions, if you're willing to do a higher deductible, just like with your car, if you're willing to do a higher deductible, if you're willing to have a lower percentage reimbursement, if you're willing to have perhaps a cap put on for what they'll pay for per year, you can make all these decisions and you can dwindle that monthly premium down and down and down, and to make it cheaper and cheaper. But at the same time, you do want to make sure that you're getting the coverage that you need. And I hate to keep saying it, but again, in my video, Health Insurance for Pets, Everything You Need to Know, we talk more in detail about that. The other pet health insurance company that I recommend is Pet Plan. Again, I'm going to give you a link to my full review of them. Inside that review, there's a nice video from them, not me, about them. Now, with Pet Plan, again, same dog, Cagney. I got a quote for him was $64.44 a month with a $1,000 deductible and a 70% reimbursement. You see, this is what's affecting the prices. Not only a different company, but also different criteria. So you can go and get your own quote. And now, obviously, you don't have to go through these two particular companies. They're the ones that I recommend on my website, but it's up to you. You can shop around for all kinds of, there are several different pet insurance companies. Now, I do know that Pet Plan has pet insurance policies starting at $10 a month. Okay, so if you just need to get something and you want to get some kind of coverage, but you can't afford much, you can go all the way down to some pretty low monthly premiums for your pet. There's an interruption in this article, so I'm just going to interrupt the video quickly to invite you to subscribe to my dog lovers email list. Well, actually, if you go to this, I'll give you the link for both. I have a dog lovers email list and I have a cat lovers email list. You can subscribe for the one or the other, or you can subscribe to both. And if you're subscribed, you'll get an email about once a week or so from peoplelovinganimals.com, and it'll be all about the health and care and training of either dogs or cats, depending on which list you're on, and you can be on both. And then you get a free pet training manual for whichever list that you sign up for. So you'll get that just as a little free gift. Now, let me give you a couple more things before you go. Don't risk your pet's health or your pocketbook. Like I said, I really could have saved thousands of dollars just with my last two pets. Before that, I had a cat who I had for 20 years. For 14 years, that cat never had a health issue. And then after 14 years, she had some pretty expensive health issues. And again, I wish I would have been aware and realized that I should have had pet insurance for that animal. So let me give you a few things before we go. In the description box of today's video, I'm going to give you the link for this article we've been using today. I'm going to give you a link for the article, Health Insurance for Pets, Everything You Need to Know, that has a video in it, but I'll also give you a link to go directly to that video. I'm going to give you the links to these two articles. Is pet insurance worth it for cats, and is pet insurance worth it for dogs? And within those are a video, and I will give you the links to those videos. And I'm also going to give you a link to that list, 12 questions to ask before buying health insurance that you can print out if you want to, so that when you're shopping around for policies, you have a better idea of like what kind of questions do you need to ask. And also, if you watch the videos that I did for you, you're going to have a good idea of what kind of coverage you want. Okay, before you start calling or before you start submitting online for quotes. Okay, so by the time you get done with all of it, you'll have a really good idea what you're talking about. I donate to animal charities. If you've been here before, you know this. If you sign up with one of these two pet insurance companies that I recommend using my links, I will get a small commission. I donate 10% of that commission to animal charities. I do that across my website for any products or services that I recommend. If you're using my link, I will get a small commission, and I will donate 10% of that commission to animal charities. And on the homepage of peoplelovinganimals.com, you can see a list of the animal charities that I donate to. So I hope that this video has helped you. I expected it to be short. It went on a little bit longer than I wanted, but I just really like to get the word out about health insurance for pets, because I could have saved so much money. And it's not just the money. I talk more in my video on health insurance about the emotional part of this, of how upsetting it is that it's bad enough that your pet is having some sort of a health issue or has had some sort of an accident. You don't want to have to worry about the money on top of it, So I hope this has given you some ideas of what the pricing is for pet insurance, how to get cheaper pet insurance, how to, find out about which coverages can affect your price and how to dwindle that down. Again, please watch the other videos and read the articles that I give you so that you can make an educated decision and you can end up with a pet insurance policy that is cheap as you can manage for the coverage that you need. I'm really happy to be able to help you with this. Please feel free to ask me any questions in the comments box. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, I would love to have you on board. And if you would like to go ahead and subscribe to the email list, I would love to have you on board. And if you've stayed with me this long and if I've helped you at all, please give a like. Always give a like on YouTube videos. If you're liking a person's content, it really helps YouTubers when you do that. Again, I hope I've helped. My name is Deborah, and my website is peoplelovinganimals.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye.